Yes, we are. Jason, thank you very much. As we, once again, are standing right outside City Hall in front of the reflecting pond. Behind us, people are lined up. The line has gotten longer for people to go in and pay their respects to Sylvester-Turner.
Yeah.
You make the introduction
Yeah,
here.
well, we heard people say how passionate Mayor Sylvester-Turner was about criminal justice, and joining us now is the former police chief, Troy Finner. You were appointed police chief under Sylvester-Turner. Do you remember the first time you met him?
It's probably about 30 years ago, and I don't remember exactly where, but I do remember his spirit. And when you met that guy, and this is true for anybody, and this is the best quality he had. He made you feel like you were important. He made you feel like he cared. And that carried on when he was a state senator, the mayor, and finally a congressperson. And it was a calling.
Yeah.
And I thought about it over the last few days, and you say, well, my God, he gave so much. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he was here for, and I just pray and ask Houston to wrap their arms around his family, his beautiful daughter, his son-in-law, and his two precious grandkids. But what a great man. And you said criminal justice, you brought that up, and public safety. Sometimes recent history, things get a little clouded for whatever reason. I want to say this, as his chief, he was the smartest mayor on crime, smart on crime and tough on crime, and I want the truth to be told on that, and that's his legacy. And also, he had this ability, this keen ability to attract people and bring people together during crisis, and that's what leaders do. It's real easy and people can talk, but when a crisis hit, whatever that crisis is, who are you? That man stood up time and time again, and I'm so grateful to God that I crossed his path. All of the conversations we had, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m., he cared about people.
Yeah.
And every individual in this city, every block, every community, rich, poor, black, white, Asian, whatever, he cared about everybody. And that's what I'm going to take with me. I love him, and I'm going to really miss him. Houston will miss him. And I want to thank him for showing up today. All walks of life, all walks of life.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned dealing with a crisis and taking what is already a crisis and not making it worse. I'm going to go back to during the time of George Floyd, when we saw riots across the country. Houston behaved a little differently. That was not by accident.
No, and it started with him. Great leadership, but great relationships over the years. And this is what everyone needs to understand. It just wasn't great police work and great leadership. It was those community relationships that had been formed and developed and maintained over years, and that's who he was. They say he was the mayor, the people's mayor. That's who Sylvester-Turner was.
He was like, it won't be a riot,
yes,
it'll be a rally.
And look, it's so funny, and when I think of him, and when I have an opportunity to smile and laugh just thinking about him, he was so serious on a lot of things, and he took control when he needed to, and he chewed some butt sometimes. But right afterwards, he'll bust out with this laugh, and that's a great quality. Serious times, you still have to bring humor to the room, and he did it time and time again.
I know you were on the Houston Police Force for 34 years.
34 years.
So late in your career, he decides to pick you as police chief. What did he say to you? Why did he choose you?
He said, you know what, out front and with the community, but he had watched me through my entire career, and definitely as executive assistant chief. And so it was between myself and Matt Slinkard, who was a good guy as well. But he said, Troy, we need community. We gotta build community. We need leadership, and we gotta drive the crime down. And that was a really proud moment in my life and for my family, and I just want to thank him for giving me that opportunity, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah,
I'm always indebted to him.
A native Houstonian giving another native Houstonian a shot. A Madison High grad, I should point out.
I remember moving here in 1998 and talking to then our former mayor Bob Lanier at the time, and he said one of his biggest concerns is that people of quality will no longer want to run for office because of the arrows they take, the criticism they take. And you've been in that line of sight, but also Mayor Turner has been in that line of sight. Did y'all have conversations about that? What kept you going?
Many conversations, and Deborah, you're so right. When you're in public office and you're the head of an agency or the head of a city, you're gonna get arrows. And my father and Mayor always said the same thing. People are not talking about you, and they're not throwing spears at you and rocks at you, you're not doing anything. So it's part of the job. Now, is it easy when it's happening? No.
No.
Everybody have their own pride, but when you know yourself, and more importantly, when you know God. When you know God, and if you knew Sylvester-Turner, you know he loved God, and he put God first. When you do that, you treat people right, you do your job, you hold other people accountable, you're gonna be just fine. I think about star athletes, because I'm a sports guy. The greatest athletes, the greatest team players, they got around people and they made them better. In whatever situation, whatever hand was dealt to him, that was Sylvester-Turner. He made everybody better around him.
And definitely a man of faith. I remember the last lunch we had, he was about an hour late, and he said, "I'm sorry, church went over on that Sunday." I'm like, well, if you're going to be late with God, that's all right. Yeah.
He was going to be in church on Sunday.
I know,
He was,
Chief, I know, talking to Sylvester in the few weeks before he left office, I said, what's your advice for the next mayor? He said, you can't please everybody.
Can't.
And if you try and please everybody, you won't please anybody. And that speaks to the slings and arrows that you can take. And I said, well, why? He said, I would run for a third term if I could. I said, why? I said, you take all the blame and some of the credit. And you know what he said? He said, that's life.
That's life.
He said, that's the way it is, and that's part of the job.
And Lynn, was one of the most impressive things, and many things that impressed me, but you never seen him or heard him point a finger. He always took responsibility, and he said, hey, this is the hand that we're dealt. Let's take it. Let's just do the best that we can with it. Let's make decisions that are going to help most of the citizens in Houston, and that's how we did it.
Yeah. Lessons that all of us can live by. Chief Finner, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's go now to Jason Miles, who is with Amanda Edwards.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Good seeing
Hey there,
you.
guys.